Thursday? Thursday. Welcome to Thursday. It's currently 4 p.m. in New York City, and we are going to make some lentil mush and maybe break down the grapefruit. I don't feel like baking cake today, so we're just going to process the grapefruit and hopefully use the grapefruit in a cake sometime later when I have more energy. Today I'm like really tired because I just got my period and I've been going through a lot of pretty intense cramping, and I'm pretty ibuprofened up, but energy is still really low. So we're just gonna take it chill. I've already eaten quite a bit of mush today, but I've been lacking on the protein front, so I think we're just gonna make onions and scallions and leftovers mushed into lentils. I'm gonna start with some scallion so that we can use it for grandma's fried dough. If you're gonna ask about how grandma is, not great. She's hallucinating, she's acting out, she's crying when people don't pick her up, imaginary people that she thinks are gonna pick her up. Today I offered to take her out for a walk, and she said, if you're gonna take me out for a walk, I want you to leave me there. I don't want you to wait for me to come back because I wanna sit there and talk to other people who are coming up to pick me up. And I was like, I can't leave you out there, grandma. Like, they're gonna put me in jail because technically I'm responsible for you. So if anything happens to you while you're unattended and unsupervised, that's gonna be a problem. And she was like, okay, then just leave. So she's getting very difficult to reason with, even more than before. I don't think that's ever been a grandma forte, but just this month I think has been more intense on that front, and there's not really much I can do about it other than just witness it and you know, who knows, you know? Yeah, that's how grandma is. I'm really tired, I'm really exhausted, not just physically, but just like life overall. So hopefully you guys are doing a little bit better than I am. I hope. But let me pull up chat here so I can see what everyone's saying. In the meantime, I'm gonna wipe down my counters a little bit, clean up. Going live is always great because it reminds me to really get my shit together a little bit more. I took out the paper recycling today because I was like, this is getting out of hand, and it truly was getting out of hand, so I feel a little bit better, at least at having taken out the recycling. It might not seem that intense, but sometimes it can be intense just to take out recycling, you know? No judging. Or you know, do judge, whatever. I don't care. That's where my energies lie. I'm also getting ready to gather some energy up inside me to attend a couple of protests this weekend. So just being mindful about my energy levels and what I can and can't handle and trying my best to not burn myself out, but I have been called on to document, so I'm going to do my best to show up. Okay, popping out chat finally. And I just remembered that I have beef liver and chicken hearts in the freezer. So whenever I feel like cooking those, I can just defrost them and cook them. I've definitely not been good on the eating protein front this week. Very carb heavy food choices. Deep fried liver sounds delicious, but also very intense to make. I'm not sure I'm ready for that kind of cleanup on my own. Alright, so we're going to sear some scallions in oil first. And then we're going to proceed to use the same pot to cook everything else today. Basically just cooking this down so that I can use it in Grandma's fried dough as a little filling for her. And also maybe I'll eat some of it too. Who knows? Grandma sometimes doesn't eat the food I bring her anymore. I don't know if it's a loss of appetite or there's some other stuff going on in her head that's preventing her from eating. She started moving things like strawberries and jujubes into her coat pockets, and I'm like, Grandma, that's one way to get diarrhea, but she won't listen to me. So it's just getting to that age where I can try to prevent her from making choices that would result in really nasty consequences, but I can't really force her to do anything. So now we've really just entered the cleanup era of Grandma's life where she makes her choices and I have to be there to help the nurses clean up literal shit sometimes. And I'm just kind of gonna submit myself to it because I remember all the times when Mom was still alive and she would constantly argue with Grandma about, you know, like, oh, you shouldn't do that, that's going to be bad for you, and then Grandma getting into fights with Mom about it, and it's just really not productive. She thinks you're making an enemy of her, and she still goes behind your back to do the same things that she was going to do anyway, so we're just not going to repeat Mom's choices because they didn't really work either, so. I feel like any food for COVID folks who are low energy is just like whatever you want to eat. Sometimes it's really hard to want to eat stuff when you're sick, so. go in with a little bit of white pepper. While that's cooking down, I have it on a little bit of a lower heat. We're going to chop some onion. These pants, thank you. These pants are leggings. I don't know. Do we consider leggings pants? Some people still don't. They were really cheap. They were like 13 bucks. Back when I used to go to the gym and had energy to work out. Gonna be a very oniony lentil soup, but I guess it's fine since I have no one to see now. starting to turn toasty golden, we're gonna pull it off and save most of it for Grandma. Wow, what is that awful sound outside? Alright. Back on the heat, a little more oil, and we'll go in with our onions first. I unfortunately used the rest of my raw ginger as like tea today, so I'm gonna use some dry ginger in here, I guess, today. That's the next best thing. We'll also add in some fresh garlic. This garlic was so expensive. It's not from the farmer's market. I just bought loose garlic. 2 of these heads were like $1.80. I'm so used to the sleeves of garlic that are just like $1.50 for 5 heads, but everything's getting expensive. Hi, Callie. Do you think I would be happy in California? Probably not, because I can't drive. white pepper for me as well in here. I'll add in a little bit of black salt just because I have so much of it and I almost never use it. And then some black pepper, naturally. A little bit of ground ginger. Turmeric, of course. A little bit of cumin. And coriander. Where are my nigella seeds? I thought I was going to feed you. Yes, here we go. Nigella seeds for health. Well, they're all for health, basically. A little bit of my leftover fennel powder from God knows how long ago. And we stir. I'm going to be putting in a little bit of brown rice into my lentil soup today too, so it's almost like a khichdi, but not really. I'm also going to be putting in some leftover smoked pig trotter meat that was pulled from the black-eyed peas that I made for New Year's. So it's going to be a hodgepodge of things, for sure. I'm going to save some of my lentil water for watering my dead plants with. They're so dead. They're so dead. I love your handle, gentle turd. I lolled so hard when I read that you left a comment on a previous live. What a fantastic username. Kushari is that Egyptian meal, right? That's kind of like mushy pasta with a lot of different chickpeas and crunchies and lentils in it. But this is more like khichdi, which is like South Asian, Indian leaning. Hello, Liam. Yeah, koshari is like, I think one of the outstanding meal highlights from my brief time in Cairo before I had to double back after my mom passed away. I had a difficult time. If you watch any of my grief diaries, I got a lot of criticism in some of those because Egypt was not a fun place to travel to as a tourist. And I know we all have ideas about where we stand as tourists and what we are privy to and what our expectations are and our power dynamics and blah, blah, blah. Yes, I get it. But also just as far as traveling for pleasure, Egypt was a very difficult experience to enjoy. Even before my mom passed away, I think the culture shock of it all was very intense. Um, okay, in goes brown rice. Lovely. I also have some chicken stock defrosting over here. So we can probably use some of this in here too. Has anyone seen Saltburn? I just watched it last night. And you know, it wasn't even like, Aaron and I did not even go to the touristy places in Egypt, but overall, I think it's so damn chaotic there. Like, we went to Hanoi and we thought the motorbike traffic there was intense and kind of like low-key terrifying, high-key terrifying sometimes. But Cairo just took it up a whole notch. The traffic is nonstop. There's very little like pedestrian crossings. I don't know if I saw more than 2. And everybody kind of just like walks along with the cars. But if you're not accustomed to that kind of navigation, it's very, very intense. What's everyone's thoughts on Saltburn? Did you like? Here's the piggy that I was hoping to use. Let's chop it. And the reason why I'm only adding that little bit of black salt to begin is because the little smoked pig trotter here will be very, very salty and will provide more than enough sodium, I think. Oh yeah, both Aaron and I could not really handle Cairo at all. It was like very overwhelming, very quickly. We were very not prepared. Saltburn has very homoerotic themes and scenes and character dynamics in it. I don't know. I mean, I guess it depends on how you quantify what a gay movie is, I would say there's definitely quite a lot of queerness in it, for sure. I thought it was extremely well cast. Like, every single casting was on point. Hello, Siobhan. Look at you. Stealthing. Great. And have you all seen Past Lives? What are your thoughts on that one? Yeah, I also don't consider the movie to be a gay movie. You know, like, definitely is a theme, but it's not out there to be gay, if that makes sense. That's not like the goal or the aim or even the backbone of it, I would say. It's more about desire and the lengths we would go to fulfill our desires, I think. And also, I would say it has to deal with like ideals a lot, you know? How we negotiate who we are with what we do. And how a lot of our identity fluctuates with social status and the lengths to which we will go to attain that social status, and also what that social status attainment will do to us and demand of us in return. The only way to get scorch marks out of wood, I say, is to slice the wood down and grind it down so that you get rid of the burn marks by basically cutting them out. Not that I know of. I'm not a handyman enough to know tricks and tips. The next thing we'll do is wash the grapefruit and desegment them. By which I mean, I'll just put all the segments in a bowl for now. I guess I could put it straight into the pot. Then I would have to drink this ginger water first. Strawberry jelly donut sounds good. Just filled with ginger water everywhere. I guess I'm just gonna pee a lot after drinking this. This water is actually quite spicy. You know what I think I'm gonna do is drop these ginger slices into our lentils. Let's see. Maybe not. I'm not feeling eating all of these, but good to know. Good to know. All right. Okay, here's my hot take. She's actually the most annoying character in past lives. But here's also the thing. One thing that I realized when I was in college is that I get really annoyed at people who remind me a lot of myself. So maybe she reminded me a lot, too much of myself. But she annoyed the fuck out of me. Ooh, this pot is burning. Alright, let's shift pots. Alright, now we're gonna clean this pot. Before we clean this pot, let's taste it and see how the spices and seasonings are so far. You see that burn? Yeah. That is the downside to these pots. They do burn quite easily. That sounds like a very cathartic watch on a plane after meeting up with the person you've spent forever with. Okay, seasoning's pretty good. I don't know if Past Lives is on Netflix. I don't have Netflix anymore, so I can't even tell you that. Guys, I have to strip down a layer. It's getting way too hot. I hope you'll excuse me because the shirt that I'm wearing underneath is a LL Bean 100% silk undershirt that my teaching co-fellows mom bought us the year we were in China, so 2011. So this shirt is 12 years old now and it's got huge holes underneath the pits, but it's kind of a style, you know. That's what I'm gonna tell myself anyway. But hey, if you need more aeration and circulation in your sweaty pits, it's also just a very, very comfortable shirt. So if I wear it underneath stuff most of the time, it won't. Oh my god, it's so burnt. Holy shit. looks extra cool because it's a black shirt. So you have a lot of like contrast with the skin. And whatever colorful undergarments you choose to wear underneath. Alright, we'll let it soak a little bit. For now, we're gonna peel these grapefruits. What up, Canada? I make a small slice on the navel to get my thumb in there. I don't really tend to watch horror movies, but if it has a good story to it, I'll watch it. Alright, now we have a peeled grapefruit. I dig in to the center, right here. Checking my fingers for garlic smells. And I'm just gonna start peeling away the membrane, which tends to be the most bitter part. And maybe we won't cook this down or anything. Maybe we'll just segment it and use it in the cake like this. Because I wasn't planning on burning the pot, but now I have. And I don't feel like making grapefruit jam out of 2 grapefruits anymore. Changes. I feel that peeling citrus fruits that are somewhat bitter in the membranes, like grapefruit and pomelo, can be very meditative if I let myself have the time and space to do it. I'm also starting to experience bloating in my stomach. I'm going to pay attention to it. I'm not really sure what's causing it. How many folks in the chat live alone? And do you find yourself talking to yourself more when you live alone? And did you ever feel like it was a weird thing to do and then you got over yourself and now you just do it? Just me? Okay. That's fine. I think I did try grapefruit with salt last time. It was okay. I'm personally not a big fan of mixing salty things into sweet. I think like for folks who like to put tahini on their mangoes, that probably works. Do you think your pets understand that you're talking to them? Do they look at you like you're crazy? There's one grapefruit. Tahini is a chili, pepper, lime, salt. So tart, spicy, salty. I'm not actually making jam anymore. I changed. I'm getting a stomach ache and my pot is burnt. So I'm just peeling them now. Maybe we'll bake a cake tomorrow if I feel up to it. Tomorrow's Friday. I'll be busy all day Saturday. I'm very tired. So maybe tomorrow cake. Thank you. I hope my stomach feels better soon too. Ooh, this grapefruit has a deeper pink color. Pretty. Don't have a favorite day of the week. Not anymore, at least. I think it used to depend on what I was doing and who I was seeing, but now, not so much. Ooh, sage and like drinking it or just boiling it? My mom used to boil vinegar on the stove to get rid of germs in the house, she said. Drinking it, interesting. Maybe I can drop some sage into my lentil soup. Dried sage, I don't have fresh. Yeah, sage burning became really huge here. Appropriated, as we like to say. liver sores. Interesting. Yeah, I think I have to go stretch after the lentils are done, for sure. I've been trying to do more stretching since I don't have energy to work out these days. I think it's been helpful. If I can't build muscle, I will build flexibility. Very pretty. Look at this mush. Let's do a taste test of our beautiful grapefruit. So the really bright, saturated pink. Very bright, very sweet. Very perky grapefruit color and taste. And then the slightly paler salmon pink. A little bit drier, a little bit duller. Just like their colors. I'm going to slap a plate on top and we'll keep it in the fridge for now. I think eating it straight causes my teeth to really suffer afterwards. So I'm going to try not to do that. Okay. While this mush cooks, I think we're gonna do some dishes and then we're gonna taste the mush and then I'm gonna log off and go sit or lie down or stretch and take care of my tummy ache. But in the meantime, you can hang out for a little while longer. Do I need to cook and eat authentic Asian food every day just because I'm Asian? Where are these questions coming from? Oh, Lord. this pot with a little bit of Barkeeper's Friend. It's mostly clear, but it's a little bit fucked. Bye, DM. Take care. Hola, Cecilia. Ah, I see. Well, I don't really know even how to cook authentic Asian food. I never really grew up eating much. My parents would make stir fries. No recipes. Restaurants were like maybe 4 times a year events. Burger King was more frequent than Chinese restaurants in my youth. Clean pot. Woo, we did it. Back to mush. Turn this heat off. And what I'm gonna do now is wilt a little bit of our baby collard greens in here. Siobhan, if you want to be a mod and post all the links you want, we can make that happen. You just let me know. It's so simple. Welcome aboard, Siobhan. want to be a mod, and if I recognize your name, you can be a mod. Oh, somebody got timed out. What happened? I don't even think they said anything. Who put Tony out in timeout? Tony just said, "Hey Siobhan, welcome." Who be doing this? Karen. We're gonna take away Karen's mod status. No, I'm just kidding. Sorry, Tony. I hope you can join us again soon. That was a mistake. We did not mean it. Welcome back, Tony. All right. Ta-da! Forgive us, Tony. It's Thursday. It's almost, we're almost at Friday. We're almost there, guys. It's been a long week. I'm waiting for the leaves to wilt a little bit more, and then we're gonna eat some in here. Maybe just let them hang for 2 more minutes, because I kind of want these greens to be a little bit wiltier. Guys, I've done so much like even veggieing this week. I've eaten like 3 to 4 stalks of celery every day. I've eaten like a handful of collard green leaves every day. I'm still working on the sunchokes. I'm trying not to like crap my pants by eating too many of those. Yeah, let's see how long I can keep this up. I'm also trying to not get angry at grandma anymore, but I'm also starting to realize that now when I raise my voice and or yell at her, that it's less about anger and more about like control and exertion of power dynamics. Because sometimes she'll just keep asking me for the same thing, which is like not doable. And so I just have to raise my voice to like shut her down. The other day when we were outside, she got really deep into meltdown mode because the people that she was waiting to pick her up obviously did not come. And by the end, she was like tearing up and crying, and she was like, "Can you take me to the airport?" And I'm just like, no, I can't. I normally I would lie to her if it's something that doesn't actually result in an action, but like if I say, "Yeah, grandma, let's take you to the airport," and then I wheel her back in her room, she's still got like enough of her mentality that she'll know that I didn't do what I said I would do. So in those circumstances where it's hard to lie to her, I just have to like yell at her now. I don't really have the bandwidth to like, there's a Chinese word called hong, which is to like kind of like soothe and coddle, to comfort the other person. And sometimes I'm able to do that, but sometimes grandma is just so persistent and insistent on getting her way, and she's sinking ever deeper into her kind of delusions now that, I mean, I'm open to all suggestions you might have for how not to yell at her and still, not give in to her demands, but whew, it's getting hard. Taking care of grandma is getting harder. I was hoping that I would be more on top of my shit by the time this happened, but I'm still not on top of my shit yet, unfortunately. So we're just gonna ride the waves as it comes, and I'll try to do my best, but inevitably I will do something that is very not nice on those tough days. And I'm trying to tell myself that that's okay. Just has to happen sometimes. Yeah, the nursing home has a social worker, but like, given Grandma's history in China of actual suffering through psychotic breakdowns, I don't think they have the staff that can service her the way she needs to be taken care of. And y'all know, given the US healthcare system and just everything, that if I keep asking them for more things, they'll probably just recommend that I transfer out to another facility. And who knows where that facility will be. The change in environment for her will probably add to a lot more stress and disorientation. Who knows what that new facility will do to her, to try to sedate her. I'm just trying to like maintain status quo as much as possible right now, just because I think at her age, the less change the better. And for me too, like I can't handle too much change in my life right now either. And I've kind of structured my life in a way that I can be within walking distance to Grandma. Like the reason why I moved into this apartment is because I finally found a place that I can live in that is very close to where Grandma's staying. And so if she moves, Tony out loud says, by the way, June, you are a hit with my students. They don't understand how you cook, but are fascinated. How old are they? Why do they know me? What class am I being shown in? And what is there not to understand about how I cook? I'm literally just applying heat and flavor to ingredients until they're mushy, for the most part. Would love to chat with your students if they want that. I've actually spoken to a few classrooms varying from like high school to college age, but if they're even younger, that could be cute too. Twelfth grade, yeah. 12th grade is such a challenging age and year to work with, because they're like, oh, I'm an adult, I'm off to college now, like, so they've developed that sense of self where it's very freeing and confident, and also they can't wait to not be in K through 12 anymore. So if they're not fully invested in me and I show up and talk to them, they'll be like, what the fuck is this lady doing here? She's boring as fuck. But if they actually are invested in me, that could be fun. I mean, Lando, I think that's what my mom's mindset was too, and that's why my mom was taking care of my grandma 24/7. I don't know what the conditions and the age of your mom is, but like, it's hard. Being a full-time caretaker is extremely demanding and draining. Be careful. Please take care of yourself. I hope you have a support network. I hope you have a social network of friends that you still keep in touch with. Just don't be alone in it. Mom was too alone in it, and she just cracked. How do you send me bagels? Where are you sending me bagels from? I've actually had viewers like visit New York City and offer to bring me food items from their home country to like meet up with me and drop off stuff. I think I had a Peruvian visitor bring me all those packets that I showed off and cooked with on a live once. And then I had, I think, an Italian viewer drop off those Laughing Cow type cheeses. It's really sweet. Thank you all for offering all these things. Mush is the 5th food group. What are the first 4? Perfectly seasoned. Not too salty. Very balanced. Tastes healthy, but also not bland. Does that make sense? That's hilarious that you were watching me right before class. I would love to do a pantry clean out video. I just don't have the energy or the motivation and interest right now. As you know, Gaza is still under siege. Israel is, despite the ruling from the International Court of Justice, is still killing Palestinians every day. I think since the 6 days since the passing of the ICJ ruling, they've killed 1,600 more Palestinians. Journalists are still being targeted. So it just very much still feels like we're not in the right time to live our lives in a lot of ways. I mean, obviously I'm still living my life. Like, I'm not literally under siege, but I think just understanding that this is the way the world works has really dulled my desire to continue previous activities the way I was doing. It's not really because I'm altruistic or anything. It's not because, like, I'm striking. I think maybe for a month or 2 I was kind of striking, but now it's just like organically inside me. There is no desire to participate in so many different activities that I would have enjoyed before. And I think, was it Motaz? It was one of the Palestinian journalists who just recently evacuated Gaza. I saw and posted an interview with him on Instagram where the interviewer was asking him, like, how about you now? Have your dreams changed? Do you still chase your dreams? And he's like, yeah, my dreams have changed. Like, how do you navigate trying to live normally after experiencing all of that and seeing all of that and being there and absorbing it and telling the whole world what's happening and then seeing the lack of response to put an end to it? Like, I have a lot of intrigue in observing people who can continue with their life routines very normally. Certainly, even if I don't judge them consciously, I think subconsciously I've realized we're just not the same kind of people. Like, we don't really absorb the shocks of the world in the same way. Vianetta from Australia. Thank you for the thought. I'm gonna skip on that, honestly. Vianetta, I hope to never eat again in my life. I think it's natural to feel overwhelmed when you see the news of Gaza, because in the back of my mind is just like,
I'm so old, and I'm just now realizing to the fullest extent possible, given what I've seen, just how awful this world is. Like, I've always been pessimistic and cynical and depressive, but this almost like proved myself and my stance, that it was like valid all along, that it wasn't just me being broken, but like, yeah, actually things are this dark, and now everybody sees it. And even still, now that everybody sees it, not everybody still cares enough to like try to change it. All the chants of 4 more years when pro-Palestinian protesters interrupt Biden and his rallies and speeches. And that's just like, that's not even the extreme end. It is a privilege to be able to take reality in small bites and pieces. Just in Gaza alone, over 30,000 people have already been crushed by reality to death. And taking into consideration all the other international conflicts that we're not as well read up on, many more face that reality. Let's put some soup away, and then I'll catch y'all later. Well, we got a marriage proposal. No, I will not marry you, internet stranger. But thank you. Thank you. You don't even have a profile picture. I don't even know your pronouns. I also think that anyone who's proposing marriage to me needs to talk with my exes so that they know what they're getting into. Because obviously, I'm a lot to handle, okay? I mean, Omar, like, that sentiment is, I feel like, the refrain of the Palestinian cause, right? It's gone, but we'll rebuild. I feel like the faith in the act of rebuilding again and again and again, because, like, of course you have to rebuild. I feel like it very much aligns with this realistic life affirmation of one must imagine Sisyphus happy. Like, we obviously know that it's so destructive inside and out to suffer through this. again and again, like how the rock rolls down the hill and you have to push it up again for Sisyphus, but one must imagine Sisyphus happy that this is the mission. My computer does get wet. Sometimes. Alright, y'all. Thank you very much for joining me today. I gotta go sit. I probably have to go stretch and cry. But happy Thursday. Happy almost Friday. Happy weekend. I hope you take care of yourself. Oh, vitamins. Did y'all eat your vitamins? All right, peeps. Peace be with us all. Take care.